Okay, not really ready to play that yet, but never let it be said that I was too ashamed to play something that I can't play yet. Just an idea. Many years ago, I picked up a video program by the guitarist Tuck Andress. You may have heard of Tuck. He's a great solo guitarist. He has a duo with his wife Patty. And on this video from many years ago, Tuck was explaining his approach to solo guitar, which a little bit different from the standard chord melody approach. He'll learn the bass line for a track. In this case, I'm trying to do Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the original version with Marvin Gaye and Tammy, I forget her last name, but it's from the mid-'60s. He would learn the bass line off the record. He would get the vocal melody and put that on as the high voice on the guitar. And then the chord changes can be, interjected in between where you can manage. But it's kind of demanding. It's a demanding style. If you ever get a chance, check out his version of Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror. It's a solo guitar thing. It's just amazing. So I can't do that. Just like a few months ago, I did a lesson on Pat Martino. I can't play like Pat Martino. I don't know anybody really who can play it exactly that way. The technique is just phenomenal. So this is, again, talking about something and trying to get an idea from something that you really can't do yet. But basically, the bass line that I picked up, let me just show you here. I tabbed it out, starting to tab it out. I found a good YouTube video where the guy plays it really well on bass, the James Jamerson bass line from the original Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And I kind of of course, raised it up, made it be on the bottom strings of the guitar. So this is the bass line, and then when the vocal melody comes in here, listen, baby, that's on top. So I got about a page of it, not even a page of it done. So again, the bass line is nice. If you check out Julia Hoff YouTube video, she's a young woman who's a fantastic bass player. But it sounds really good on bass. But, this is the next best thing. Okay? And then when it goes to the verse, it's really nice. You should check her out, and it really sounds good because she's down low and she's playing like an open six string, and it's really, really, really good. Okay, so that's the bass line part. The vocal, okay, so the challenge is in trying to pull it all together. So it's really more of a concept at this point. I don't really have the full arrangement to give you because I'm just starting on it. But I'm going to take another stab at the first few measures. So the chords here are very nice. I mean, the Motown players, the musicians, were jazz musicians. And, there's a documentary, Standing in the Shadows of Motown, that's really, really good. I especially like the parts where they're interviewing the older musicians who were on the records then, back in the 60s. It was probably done about 20 years ago, 15 years ago, and I'm sure some of them have passed on. So I'm really glad they got some good interview content with these guys. But they would play a jazz club the night before a record date, or they might be playing for a stripper in the Detroit area, and they'd happen upon a Latin rhythm or some kind of complex 5/4 thing or something. And the next day they would use that to fuel ideas for the records, Marvin Gaye, Supremes, Temptations, Four Tops, Jackson 5, what have you. So basically, the chord is kind of static here. It's D6 with A in the bass. So it's like an A minor shape, but moved up 2 frets. I'm going to play that shape with the open A. Now with the G sharp, and then you have to change to go to a G major 7. But what's happening is the chord is staying the same. It's just the same chord, okay? So let me try it again. I've got to get my fingering together. Okay, so there it kind of falls apart. It was falling apart during and after. But in any event, it's just an idea from Tuck Andress. And many years ago, after I watched this video a few times, I kind of did one of these arrangements for What's Going On, the Marvin Gaye tune. And it was actually coming along pretty well. Of course, real life intruded, other priorities jumped in. And so I'm trying to get back to it now. It results in a kind of a chord melody arrangement that's got a different feel to it. It's more syncopated, more rhythmic, hopefully. I'm not a bass player, I readily admit that. But in any event, that's the idea. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. The original Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell was her name. And the bass player, of course, was James Jamerson. Going to give it one more stab, then there's something else I wanted to share. Okay. Okay. Let me put this guitar down. I just want to show you a guitar that I picked up, and it's a recommendation. So hang on just a sec. Excuse the dead air. Chat amongst yourselves. Be right with you. A little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago, I guess, I bought a cheap Chinese guitar, Firefly. And I had done a little video as soon as I got it that day. I have very sensitive skin, so what I've discovered with the Firefly, I have no idea what they put on the fingerboard of that guitar, but it irritates my left index finger, especially if I'm doing lots of bar chords. So this recommendation is for another relatively inexpensive, not as cheap as the Firefly, but a relatively inexpensive guitar you've probably heard about, seen videos about. It's the Sire Larry Carlton. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful guitar for the price. I happened to find one in a Guitar Center, $705. I've watched a lot of video reviews, and some of them are from the UK, and they always talk about, yeah, 500 pounds. No, 500 quid, they say. So it's a 500 quid guitar, but it plays and feels like a lot higher quality instrument. So to me, you might say, yeah, it's a $705 guitar. It's more toward maybe, $1,200 or up. But it's very, very good. The thing I didn't like about the Firefly was the frets were not finished. They were jagged, and if you did this a few times, you'd be getting some bandages. So this is really nice. They have the rounded frets. It's an ebony fingerboard. Pickups are nice. The other thing I like about Sire, it was founded by a Korean man who started his own company, and I understand they make these in Indonesia, but he built his own factory. So everything that's on the guitar, the nut, the tuning pegs, the fingerboard, the neck, the pickups, the bridge, everything is manufactured in their plant in Indonesia. It's Sire. I've been telling friends about them because this is my cheap man's, or I should say poor man's, version of a Gibson ES335. But they also have three other models that might be of interest. One is a Les Paul copy, and I've seen reviews on all of these, and it seems consistent across the board. The fretwork, the pickups, everything. The finish, it's a beautiful, they call this cherry red, or no, they call it see-through red. You can see a little bit of the wood grain there. Okay, a little bit of the wood grain. I actually was shooting to get another shade, which is the cherry sunburst, but they don't seem to be available at all. They have them in like white, black, red, cherry, the red sunburst and the traditional sunburst. But what I was trying to say is they have a Les Paul copy, which has gotten good reviews. They have a Strat copy, which has gotten very good reviews. And they have a Telly copy, which has gotten very good reviews. So I have a Telly, not really interested in that. But in the future, I may be looking into the Strat because I don't have any Strat guitar, and I never really did. Anyway, so it's the Sire. And there's a great British guy who brings me to some other recommendations that I had for guitar players. John Robson. John Robson has a nice YouTube channel. He's in the northern tip of the UK, and he's got the British accent and everything. He's a really good guitar player, a good teacher. I forget the title he put on his YouTube channel, but it's John Robson, R-O-B-S-O-N. And he always opens his video, "Hello, lads. I do hope you're well." So he's got the British accent and everything, but he seems like a really nice guy, really good teacher. He did some reviews on all of these Sire guitars. You could check him out. Yeah, he was making the point that he buys guitars and he does reviews, unlike myself. He just buys guitars with the intentions of doing YouTube reviews. And then in most cases, after the fact, he'll try to sell the guitar and eventually make maybe a profit if he's lucky. He pointed out that with a few of these Sires, he got the guitar for that purpose, just to make the video and then get rid of it. And he can't bring himself to get rid of. I know the 335. He said this is not going anywhere. He says this is not going anywhere. So check out John Robson's guitar channel. He also has a thing Fridays, 5 p.m. UK time, which right now is noon US Eastern time. And he sits there and he has a couple of beers and he talks about guitars. He takes your chat comments, and just a good guy to check out. Another one is if you're into jazz, if you're into chord melody, this is a great one. If you don't know about it already, Rick Severson. Rick Severson is based in California. He's written guitar books. He's played with lots of good people. He's an older guy like myself, a little bit older than I am, but he's a really good guitar player, a really good teacher, and he's a nice guy. So he's got a fun live stream that he does every Thursday. Again, he's in California, so he does it every Thursday, 11 a.m., which right now for me is 2 p.m. Thursday's 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. So just some recommendations. I find it motivates me. I find I learn an awful lot from Rich. Actually bought a guitar from him. He's a great guy to buy a guitar from if you're in the market for a nice jazz box. And I only recently got into John Robson, the guy in the UK, but he's really nice too. He's more of along the rock, blues, a little heavy metal, occasional jazz, but he doesn't really strike me as a jazz guy. He's more rock and blues, really good player. Actually last week I saw him do a little jazz thing. I said, hey, do more jazz, mix it in. It's a lot of variety he has. And so yeah, just some recommendations. I hope they help. I hope you like this video. I hope you didn't mind listening to me trying to get the Motown thing together with Ain't No Mountain High Enough. But if you liked it, give me a like. If you like this kind of stuff, me rambling on endlessly, just consider subscribing if you haven't already and ring the bell. And by all means, have a great day and stay well. Bye-bye.